there any jocks listening to the podcast? I have a jock problem. If you guys want to hear about it.
Yeah. Fucking tell them.
Always, bro. Yeah, bro, what's on your mind?
They're all in the steam room in the fucking locker room, and they got SWIMFANS bumping. Let's lay some truth on them.
Well, listen, King.
What's wrong, Goat?
Hey, players.
What's up, pimp?
So I went really hard for leg day on Friday, like jelly afterwards, yeah. kind of day. And what I'm learning is that it can make you feel like you're dying, like physically, like not like I'm not like in pain, to be clear. Mm-hmm. It's that like last night I'm like, oh, I caught COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm dying. And I think it's because like all of your body's resources go to repairing the damage you've done to your muscles so they can get all big and thick with it. Mm-hmm. But so I thought I was dying, right? Yeah. So all weekend I've been I yesterday I was like, oh, I feel bad. I might have gotten sick, so I didn't go to a friend's birthday party because I thought it would be irresponsible in case I caught COVID, right? And then as I'm going to bed, I'm like, oh, my legs are uncomfortable no matter what position I'm in, and now they're sort of uncomfortable no matter what position I'm in. So the price I'm paying for hotness is that I'm just feeling sick constantly. So that's my jock problem.
I've never encountered that. There have been a few times where so I was at Twinks versus Dolls, and I was like, they're just giving out edibles there, and so I took one, and at a certain point I was just like, oh, it's time to go to sleep now. Like my body was just started shutting down, and I was like, okay, new sensation, because like it felt like it wasn't like, oh, I should sit down. It's time to fall over. And I found a staircase to sit on, and I sat there for probably 45 minutes. Was it like that?
The Twinks and the Dolls did not let you live.
No, they've been out to get me since day one.
the detestable Twinks,
yeah. This is Twink sabotage.
But I was telling, I was at least talking to Craig about this, that I'm going off my antidepressants, right? And so to cope with the constant onslaught of horrors,
yeah.
On top of my own personal life being a bit difficult at the moment, I'm like, let me go to the gym every day so that I'm doing something and hopefully farming my own homegrown serotonin. Mm-hmm. I'm doing subsistence farming in my brain to make sure that I'm full of chemicals that I need to continue to get up and pay and function in society. So if there's any jocks listening, first of all, text me. Second of all, if you have any tips to avoid this in the future. That's what's going on with me these days. So that's my deal. Yeah.
Tired of tackling dummies? Want a real flesh and blood human being to knock over?
Have you ever wanted to pulverize somebody's face into a pulp? Have I got the movie for you? Hello and welcome to SWIMFANS. This is your number one erotic thriller podcast for the week. I am your co-host, bound up in all the electrical cords in the house. I'm Josh McKenzie.
I don't have a bit. Fuck, shit. I don't know. Not very
You sounded devastated.
Stab me in the.
Can you be?
Stab me in. Stab me in the hand with a fork so I know it's real. I'm Craig Neeson.
That's pretty good. I'm inexplicable A&W root beer product placement Jennifer Hawking.
So this week on the show, because we just wrapped up Full Clip, we had our Choose Your Own Adventure episode previously, and we are about to go into SWIMFANS Bloodbath, if you can believe it. October is nigh. The little jack-o'-lanterns that you can see behind Craig's eyes are becoming lit.
Vupinet moves ever closer.
Yeah, so basically October ends, and that's the farthest they are from us all year, and then all year round they just get steadily closer.
Vu follows.
We start getting pings on our alien air displacement device.
Yeah.
Goo just starts manifesting itself in the corners of our rooms.
Anxiously eyeing all the air ducts for Vu.
But yeah, so because we just finished up a series, we had a special event, and we're about to start another one. We thought that instead of jumping back into erotic thrillers, we would dive into the listener suggestion bag briefly. So we have, we have farmed suggestions from the listeners, and if you ever do want to recommend anything for the show, you can do that wherever you would ask a question, right? So Instagram, the email, swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. Always be plugging.
Yeah. We may not read them out on the show like the questions, but we'll add them to a list.
Yeah. So we decided to sort of dip our hands into the bag here, and because I don't know if this was last year or 2 years ago, Jennifer got Craig and I the box set of Shinya Tsukamoto's filmography, and we received a corresponding recommendation. We thought we would do for this week's episode 2011 Tsukamoto film Kotoko.
I just do it.
Who do we have to thank for this?
I believe this is Naji Kirima.
Okay, if it wasn't Naji Kirima, please correct us. Again, that's swimfanspodcast@gmail.com.
I can actually check really quick.
There's a live feed of me in a saw-like trap.
It was Naji Kirima.
Okay.
Who?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
My jaw isn't being explosively opened at this time.
That's great. That's great news, Craig.
I love that for you, Craig.
We're always happy to hear that that's not happening to you. It's one of those like glib websites that's like, is Henry Kissinger dead.com, where it's like, no, until yes. But it's like, is Craig Neeson's jaw exploded by a saw trap.com?
Nope.
It says not yet.
Every day I wake up and hope for no. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Kotoko, this movie was, I believe, both like written and produced and starring Coco, who we saw in The Bride for Rip Van Winkle. She plays the eponymous Kotoko here. She is a woman who, at the start of the movie, we understand that she is experiencing this sort of hallucinatory disorder where, like, when she sees a person, she sees two of them, and one of them is the actual person in physical space, and the other is sort of like a threatening, dangerous version of the same person. So, like, when she's at work, she'll see like a man, and she'll see like the normal way that a man would likely conduct himself in a place of business, and then like a violent, scary man, and she's unable to determine the difference, which obviously is quite destructive for one's day-to-day life, reacting as though a man is trying to kill you when he is shopping for children's books with this child. So we see this manifesting over several different kinds of people. She is also a single mother. She has a little boy named Daijiro, who at the start of the movie is an infant. Kotoko is constantly on the move because she keeps getting into altercations with people on the street. Like, people will be like, "Oh, your baby's so cute," right? And then so she sees the normal person who's saying that, and then she sees like the rage virus version of the person saying that. So Kotoko, after doing like several assaults, has to like keep moving around Japan. Finally, this sort of hits like a breaking point, and Daijiro is taken away from her when she hallucinates like herself dropping Daijiro from the top of a building. She doesn't drop him, but she believes that she had, and so Daijiro goes to live with her sister. She basically is sort of like floating through life at this point. Like the only thing that like made her feel normal was her son, and so she's sort of despondent. But she does get to visit him, and she has a lovely weekend at her sister's house, like out in the country, where she's able to see Daijiro. He's now a bit older. He's like a toddler, and she's able to like see him and play with him. But of course, that trip is unfortunately so brief. So the next phase of the movie is that she meets a guy, Tanaka, who's actually played by Shinya Tsukamoto himself. She meets Tanaka, and Tanaka is a novelist, like apparently a very successful novelist who has been following Kotoko because he's like noticed her, and he caught her singing on the bus, which sort of artistically inspired him or something. And all he wants to do is be near her. He wants to date her. He wants to be with her. So he keeps doing things like inviting her out, and she stabs him in the hand with a fork to go away. And he's like, back at it again at the Krispy Kreme. He's like, let's go, please go on a date with me. And they do it again, and she stabs him in the other hand with a fork. Right. So like she, as much as he wants to be near her, she pushes him away, but he's persistent. This whole time, by the way, she's got this sort of like pattern of self-harm. Tanaka comes in and catches her, harming herself. So he cares for her. She kicks him out. He comes back because she's resumed self-harming, and he cares for her again. So like essentially they sort of they settle into this sort of uneasy sort of togetherness. The pair go to visit Daijiro together, and it seems that they have a nice time. And it's at this point that Kotoko tells her sister that, you know what, I'm going to be happy. I'm deciding that I'm going to be happy. Following this, Kotoko is like sort of chatting with Tanaka back in the city. And she realizes that when she's with Tanaka, the double vision hallucination that she's having doesn't exist. She feels like her phrasing is that the world has become one. And there's this sort of hallucinatory moment where she's singing a song to Tanaka, and it's sort of beautiful and mournful, and both of them end up crying. So one day we see that Kotoko is doing a lot better. Like at work, she seems a lot more capable, a lot more. Oh wait, sorry, I don't want to skip this part. She's like beating him a lot. She's like pummeling Tanaka constantly, as much as like she's like, you never see it happen really, but like you keep seeing Tanaka's face like beaten and bruised and like swollen, and it seems to be this sort of situation where she is she's like abusing him, but he doesn't care as long as he gets to be near her. So that's sort of in the background of this whole segment of the film. But overall he's fine. Like he doesn't seem to mind that it's happening. So one day Kotoko comes home. She's, like I said, she's doing better. She gets a notice in the mail that Daijiro is going to come back to live with her. She's been deemed fit by the government to have her kid back, so she's very excited. She goes up to tell Tanaka, only to find that Tanaka is gone and seemingly was never there. Like all of the stuff that they had moved in isn't there, doesn't seem to have ever existed. So Tanaka is gone. She does indeed get custody of Daijiro again, but once again she's now despondent. Like she really ended up loving being with Tanaka, and now she's even though she has her son back, she's the world is no longer one. She's experiencing she's losing her grip a little bit again. To the point that now she's seen doubles of Daijiro. She's unable to protect him, for instance, when he stabs himself in the eye with a pencil, because she's not sure which Daijiro is real. She has this hallucination of him getting hit by a car, which is quite troubling. And then the hallucinations kind of get scarier. Like Daijiro is napping in his bedroom, and she envisions this sort of like horrifying vision of like stochastic violence where some sort of like wet work team style guy breaks into the house and is beating her with the butt of a gun, and then finally shoots Daijiro in the head. So she's having this terrible vision of this violence happening, which of course is also hallucinatory and not real. And she goes in to see Daijiro, and she's like, you know what, I would rather kill Daijiro now than have somebody else kill him, right? So she puts her hands around his throat while he's asleep, and she experiences this sort of like full break where there's all these like beautiful like cardboard art installations, basically like things made out of fairy lights and like cardboard cutouts. It's really quite lovely that are sort of happening, and it all like bursts into white. And in the last section of the film, we see that Kotoko has now been institutionalized. She doesn't know how long she's been there or what she's doing, but the highlight of her day is when she's allowed to go outside and smoke. So we see her going outside. It's raining too hard for her to smoke, so instead she just sort of dances in the rain, just sort of being there in the situation, I guess. In the last scene, because at this point we're led to believe that she has murdered Daijiro, but in this final scene we see that Daijiro is not dead. He's now a teenager, so Kotoko has been in this institution for quite some time. And Daijiro comes in, he tells her about his day, how he's doing at school. She's almost fully catatonic, but he seems like a happy young boy. He tells her about his day, and then he goes to leave. And as he's leaving, she watches him go from the window, and they like make eye contact and do like a hand gesture, and that's the end of the movie. What do we think about Kotoko?
I love this. This film was like a really incredible surprise. Working my way through the Shinya Tsukamoto box set, I was liking everything that I was seeing, but Kotoko really bowled me over. And this is my second time around the bend, and I guess I had forgotten how like violent the film is, how consistently like violent and upsetting. Just that through line of disorientation and the kind of like unreliability of like Kotoko's reality, affecting us, the audience, how destabilizing, how frightening, how isolating it all feels. But like ultimately, this film is, again, the entire film is carried by Coco. She fucking kills it. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to play mental illness. I think the things that I can point to where I feel like it's successful are like like a fraction of a percent. And the rest are kind of like fucking trash, like Gina Rollins in Woman Under the Influence or Kirsten Dunst in Melancholia. And that's like kind of it. Everything else I've been like, oh no, baby. That's like, Don't Say a Word with Brittany Murphy, making these like incessant like hand gestures. Like I'm mentally ill because I have a tick where I do weird things with my hands. No, this is like someone that's struggling up against the fact of her brain being just like completely unreliable, giving her this like profound like fear and skepticism that what she's seeing is whether it's true or not. Just this experience lived completely on the edge, compounded by caring for an infant completely by herself. The stressors and the strains that I can't even really begin to imagine of raising a child alone. Not to mention again like the compounding factors of like living alone, being alone, having to work to support oneself while raising a child, while being ill. It's frightening. Like it's a really frightening and harrowing portrait of this woman, but it's also like incredibly tender. There's an interest here in showing a kind of stylistic but nevertheless like full portrait of what it's like to be a human being that's like very troubled mentally, where it's like she does experience these moments of like extreme bliss where like the world calms down, it ceases its kind of duplication, its fracture into one type of unreliability, and then the reality that you don't trust, and it becomes whole. And it happens when she's singing. The sequences where Kotoko is doing these really beautiful just a cappella songs. There's one English song, and there's like I think the rest are Japanese, and they're stunning sequences. And there's the one where she's singing to Shinya Tsukamoto's character is like crazy. It's like the entire song, and we're witnessing it from the vantage point like of the Tsukamoto character, who, yeah, depending on how you want to interpret the film, may or may not exist. I don't think he does. But this isn't like a Christopher Nolan film. We don't need to talk about the ending explained. There is there's this idea that like a life lived in like extreme pain, being kind of in some way one that's not without its like joys, one that's prickly and terrible and unsustainable and like hideous, but it contains within it nevertheless moments of like connection with the body, a connection with one's voice, and a connection with the world, even if at the end she can't in a catatonic way she can't really like reconcile like what she believes she's done and the kind of reality that her son is seems to be a well-adjusted teenager who in the way that she was loving to him as a child, he repeats those acts, right? Like that moment where she's leaving, having visited her son and her sister, she hides behind some trees and then she extends one arm to like wave goodbye. He repeats that gesture at the end, telling us, the audience, and her that like, he's not forgotten like the tenderness and the love that she nevertheless had for him, even though, her entire life was fraught with, these intrusive, hideous thoughts of her hurting her own child or the world, which, in her mind or even in reality is one that's hostile to her child. I think it's tough and it's not particularly pleasant, but I think it's an intensely beautiful film, and I love it very dearly.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I've been sitting on that set for like 4 or 5 years now, and like every time I actually do watch another movie, like another new one, it's like such an eye-opening experience, because even now I think of that box set and I'm like, oh yeah, Tsukamoto, the Tetsuo the Iron Man guy, like that's certainly like his most remarkable film, and just watching any other movie in that set, it's like, oh no, he's actually a genius who can and does use every tool available to him to like push his movies into like new expressive territories. Like there's a moment in Kotoko where we've spent so much time inside the apartment with the lead, and she's just like going through it so badly, and then we sort of get like a jump cut to her on a bus outside, and like the white balance is like fucked up intentionally, but like it everything feels so unnaturally blue that it kind of feels like your eyes are like struggling to adjust with all of this light that is now in the scene. Like that sort of like formalist kind of like trick is like so heavy throughout this whole movie, and it makes it so engaging, and like it kind of in its like formal qualities ratchets up the tension in everything. So I was struck by like Coco's incredibly believable experience of like going through a mental health crisis, but like the filmmaking and like how far it pushed like close up handheld shots to their limits, and on-screen bloodshed in like not like, it's not like geysers of blood or anything, but it's still like really shocking and distressing, and like watching all of that kind of like come together to make this like experience. I don't know. There's just something magical to this movie. I cherish this incredibly stressful experience.
Yeah, I think there's so much going on in this movie. Like, I think that was my big takeaway, was just like the richness of like what's going. Like, I mean, she's like this, so there's like almost nothing in this movie in terms of like world or character, right? Like you have Kotoko and you have Daijiro and you have this idea of a fake guy, Tanaka. Like we'd never find out her sister's name. Like she's not a character. There's almost nothing surrounding Kotoko in this movie. But it's so, to me, it's like so rich and lovely, I guess, like unpleasant to be sure, but like rich and lovely. You have this sort of classic, or what I'm coming to understand is classic. This is maybe my fourth Tsukamoto film. Coming to understand as classic, where there's this like a character who's just incompatible with modern society, right? Like there's a moment where Kotoko's like having like a drink after work, and this guy is like trying to like flirt with her, and she does her classic maneuver where she stabs him in the hand with the fork, as one does. And she's having this like inner monologue where she's like, oh, making a living, going to work. She just keeps comparing like, all of these like concepts that sort of rule our society. And she's just like, it's not that, like, we don't know why Kotoko is the way that she is. But for me, what makes the most sense is that she's just a person who's sort of incompatible with the way society has been set up, right? Like she's clearly in need of support, of community, and especially in this hyper capitalist isolated society, she's not getting any of that. And so like whatever is going on with her, she's just incompatible with the world around her. So you have this, which is quite rich. You have this like growing fear of like this almost like Western like stochastic violence. Like I think this image of this soldier that she keeps seeing is so, I mean, it's like a black ops guy, right? Like it's so American in terms of its like particular horror, like of mass shootings. She keeps seeing these news reports of like children who are getting their like throats cut by like guys just coming into schools, which of course happens, right? But like for me as an American, it's hard to not to relate that to the sort of culturally endorsed violence that we send our children into every day. So like you have this sort of paranoia of the violence of the modern age, and then when you get to the segment with Tanaka, you have I think one of the most poignant visual metaphors of like the hedgehog dilemma that I've ever seen in my life, which I thought it was really nice. I thought it was I think it's supposed to repulse you a little bit, but actually I thought it was kind of sweet. Like no matter how much she pushed against Tanaka, like quite literally, he didn't like let her go to the point where she gave him a chance, basically. Like she let somebody else in, and it ended up being so nice that it stopped like the hallucinatory situation that she's going through. So like it was quite lovely that it's so gross, right? Like Tanaka's face is like cartoonishly Tetsuo the Iron Man style, like swollen from getting his face beaten in, but he's like, oh, it's okay, I'm really fine, we could do this again later if you want to, and
just let me heal a bit.
It was just like it was just the most like visually satisfying way I've seen like the hedgehog dilemma portrayed on screen. But like for me, I think what was the most lovely thing about this movie, completely unexpected, like this movie could have been like obsidian bleak, right? Like if she had like killed Daijiro at the end of the movie, I think it would have been totally in line with the movie, right? Like if she had done what she said, what we thought she was doing, I think that would have completely fit with what was going on, and it would have been completely understandable. But what I found completely like lovely and unexpected was this idea of like the world, even if you're in the throes of mental illness, even if you are unfortunately sort of tortured by these things, the world still is moving on outside of your head. And I say this as somebody currently in the middle of a mental health situation, that like things that your perception is not always reality. And so the fact that she is institutionalized, right, which your mileage may vary with that, but she's not in danger. She's not hurting herself or others. And what's most important is that like although she's lost track of time, like Daijiro's like a happy kid who's coming to see his mom. So like, even though like she is and has been like tortured, there is more to the world than the inside of her head, which I thought was a surprisingly lovely bit of texture at the end of this movie that I think could have easily been skipped or could have just been left to be very bleak instead. But it was this sort of idea that for me I think doesn't always get talked about regarding portrayals of mental health in movies. I liked it.
I mean, I do like the way the register in which this film operates. Like, Kotoko is never given a formal diagnosis. We could say, we could pathologize it and try to make it real. We could say, it's paranoid schizophrenia. I mean, there's even a phenomenon that's quite common, and there isn't like a lot of literature on it. And I knew someone that experienced it. Intrusive thoughts of harming your own child after having given birth. It's apparently very, very, very common and very, 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 very fucking distressing, right? It's like, I love my child. Why am I having these thoughts? That's
Why am I about to drop it off of this roof?
Right, exactly. Like, literally, like the person that I knew that experienced it literally had that exact intrusive thought. Like, what if I drop my baby off a fucking roof? And it's like, that's, it challenges that idea of like, oh, okay, am I like a good person? I mean, there's that moment where Kotoko kind of breaks down and it's like, I'm terrible. I'm awful. It's not really come up. She's not really expressed it other than what we can see in like the manifestation of it in self-harm. But she's like, I'm bad. Like, I'm a good person. Leave me alone. That idea of like pushing out other people. I mean, she's right to push out the fucking creep that's like, so you're married, huh? Like, I think it's great when a woman has a baby young. It softens her up, and it's like, okay, stab him. Get rid of him. Stab him.
Honestly,
bring on the fork.
Yeah. Girl does some completely justified shit. Her gaze work. Like there's this again. Everything is like stylized. Everything is Tsukamoto-esque. Even his insertion of himself into the film, feels like really deliberate in a way. I mean, it's. Not only is it like happening on some kind of like meta level where his character is beating the shit out of him, which seems, if I'm gonna psychoanalyze the guy, I think maybe there's something there that motivates him. I'm not gonna speak any more to that. I can speculate all I want. However, that idea of like the fictional creation kind of lashing out against the creator. And if we kind of like read it as, this man existing on some level, even if it's phantasmatic and only in her mind, this idea that like some man would come in and fix everything, right? It's such a vulgar thing. And I think it like really, I think the fact of him like not being real or being revealed to having been like a facet of herself in some way. I mean, to me, it reads as like she's displacing the violence that she's inflicting on herself onto like this like phantasmatic like third party, right? She's no longer engaging in self-abuse, but has found a way to kind of take that anger, that rage, that despair, and channel it at some fucking guy, like this like guy, which gives her life this kind of like center, this kind of grounding. So even though all these things are Looney Tune cartoonish, I mean, nevertheless, they are maybe even in ways that are more effective, like sketching out like the anxieties of the anxieties and pains of being alive. Like there's this moment where Kotoko is trying to turn off the TV or like change the channel, and it's the first time we see the fucking wet work guy, and it's a camera. And we're following a guy with a press jacket. Guy with the press jacket gets completely just destroyed by this unseen man with a gun. and the cameraman's like alive for a little bit, but then eventually the fucking guy with the gun finds the dude with the camera and keeps killing him. Like we see the tape being like rewound. He kills him. Tape gets rewound. Kills him. Tape gets rewound. Kills him. And it's like compared to like late November 2003 when I saw this for the first time. That idea of like seeing like a journalist get killed over and over again. So I don't want to derail the discussion too much, but like seeing a journalist get killed over and over again is what we've been doing for like fucking like how long? You know, seeing a child killed. You know, how long have we? How long has that been something that we're seeing on a day to day? You know, there's this. Remember, it's like years ago now, of this. Again, I'm worried about derailing things, but I think it's like relevant. Where, on the fucking phone, I saw this video clip of a young girl in Palestine, and she's in a very like dirty, tattered dress, and of course, she's living in like a refugee camp. And she has crayons and she has a coloring book, and it's Disney princesses, so it's Cinderella and so on, and she's coloring all of the princesses yellow because she's experiencing really severe jaundice, and it's like that thing that lives in my mind, and like that thought that the world does that to children. Won't leave. You know what I mean? And I feel like the world does this. Like it shows you its cards, and it leaves this like indelible mark of like not only is there that capacity in me to like fail as a person, there's this capacity for like other people to engage in this like just like lost, like any kind of like soul has been cast into oblivion, and we've architected this situation where the girl with the yellow crayon is rendering the likeness of people in yellow because she's yellow because she's fucking malnourished, and it's like it's infectious, right? And it doesn't just remain on this level of like it's a thing in my phone. It's something that like Kotoko's experiencing, where she's like is trying to like turn it off but can't turn it off. It's there, like because she's like aware that like the world, like I mean even this phenomenon of like seeing a stranger and then imagining like the capacity for a stranger to engage in like random ass violence is like I feel like pregnant in I feel like on some like psychological level. I don't want to like really extend it to other people, but it's like, oh right, because I know that I can do harm and other people can do harm against me. I wonder, is that stranger gonna be normal? Are they gonna say what a cute baby, or are they gonna try to hurt my baby?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're gonna try to hurt me? So that like this like this environment that of like isolation. And seeing and being fed narratives and witnessing the world like through a screen, priming one for like a profound anxiety about other people and about oneself. This movie like zeroes in on that phenomenon in such a like a sharp like cutting way, and it hurts. It hurts because it's so like accurate. It's so dead on.
Yeah, there's not to just make this about myself or something, but like since coming out as transgender, you get looks. Most of the times they're neutral, but sometimes they're not. Like sometimes they're just people who don't really like that you're there, and like not knowing which side of someone you're going to get just by being in the presence of other people. And then like having that urge, just like, well, if I just don't go anywhere, I don't have to deal with this thought anymore. Like that resonated a lot with me, and I liked how they did it with like Tsukamoto's character of like Is he just some guy on TV that she kind of like subconsciously latched onto? Or she's just seeing like the double version of him or whatever that like would go on to like abandon her? Because she has like a monologue later on like about like, yeah, everyone who abandoned me, I just want to prove them wrong by being happy or whatever. Yeah, that all worked really well for me, I guess.
I mean, I think like for lack of a better word, every part of this movie that Kotoko goes through, I think is just so expertly rendered. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, Craig. Like, it's more than just this sort of like hallucinatory disorder that she's having. It's that, like, you know, at any given moment, somebody on the street is either normal to you or not normal to you, and in this society, it's increasingly difficult to know when somebody's going to be normal versus not normal. So like it almost feels like a time in the present era is sort of justifying this hallucination that she's having. I don't know. I just think each part is it's almost amazing. I think that Kotoko works so well as a like a holistic film, because I think each of these like ideas could have been its own entire movie that could have been stretched out into a movie. And so I'm impressed that that Tsukamoto was able to sort of like encapsulate different ideas and have it feel so cohesive together. This is a movie about having brains. You have meat in your head. You have meat in your head, and sometimes sometimes it doesn't work the way all the rest of the meat is working.
Yeah, it's really cool that because I feel like it touches a lot of similar themes as like Red Desert does, but like whereas that is like such like a slow shot at a distance European art film, I like that this is like another exploration of the same ideas, and there's still like a similar thing going on where like only relevant people are in the scene and everything else is like completely barren. Like even when it's like the hospital or whatever she's in at the end, there's just like no one in it except for the one person leading her around. It works, I think, really well as like a visual metaphor for like, you know, isolation and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually just at a museum earlier today, and there was a W. Gene Smith photograph of a hospital. Forgive me while I bring it up, and I can post it somewhere. It's called Untitled, from the series Hospital Special Surgery. Sorry, I'm going to read this. Quote, "In an austerely lit hallway that is given ominous texture by the grainy quality of Smith's black and white film prints, two patients face each other, seemingly unaware of the other's presence. Their contorted postures, the overexposed ceiling lights, and the rigid vertical line dividing the hallway, line dividing the hallway in two. Sorry. I'll try that again. And the rigid vertical line dividing the hallway in two conjure a space that feels both orderly and unsupervised. The absence of medical staff raises unsettling questions about institutional care and oversight. Smith's framing of disability through a horror lens is also striking, inviting a reflection on why disability is so often becomes a site of unease in the visual arts." And it's like, yeah, these people are like alone. Like Kotoko is like fundamentally alone. Her workplace, where she seems to have a job that is underlining things in colored pencil, which is
awesome.
which is like it's such elegant shorthand for like the humdrum administrative work that so many people find themselves in, where it's just like you're just doing the thing, you're circling the word, or you're underlining the word, or you're crossing the word out, or whatever. And it creates this world, again with this like divide, like in the Eugene Smith photo, where there's just this line in the hallway that divides the patients from nothing. And there's no catch, there's no support. Even in this like way that she exists in the home and the kind of locale of her sister, which is Okinawa, if I'm like not like totally like off base here.
Looked like
it's
it.
definitely different. Like it's I mean, relative to like where we see Kotoko, which is like dense urban, like neutral color palette. We have this like really verdant, really green, lively place where there isn't friction. There's just like play. Like it's a space of like play and like abundance and like a beautiful ocean. And the way that Kotoko exists in that world is, she's peppered her child with all of these toys, but it's as though she's kind of like a phantom, like she's like trying to give these things, whether or not like, the child really recognizes her. There's those moments where like the child is completely engaged with the sister, or like the sister is like, oh no, we can't eat all of these just yet, because Kotoko's like really overly excited about giving her child like all these treats. There's this bubble. There's this little separation that keeps Kotoko kind of like at bay, or like out, like fundamentally, like even though she's there and physically present, she's outside of it. Like she's being like pushed, she exists in a kind of like wraith-like way. But the moments of connection between her and the child, where they actually get to see each other and she gets to respond, are amazing, right? Like when she makes him laugh, like she's so happy, and she does that gesture when she's leaving, and the gesture of like the little like spider of doing the hands, like that little like I'm crawling across the table and then I point at you. That she's doing to the child, which then gets repeated back to her by the child. Like there's like in this like world where Kotoko exists like completely alone, even if she's in a situation with another person. There are moments where the bubble gets to burst, right, where like she actually does get to reach across this fucking like yawning void and connect with another person, namely her son, and like that's so like it's a grim thing, right? But it's like a view of Kotoko's like illness or condition that like even in spite of like all of the things that are like keeping her isolated, keeping her in this like bubble, like she's able to in moments like be at peace with it, or actually like fundamentally like make the wall fall down. You know what I mean? And seeing Kotoko, respond, kind of in kind to like whether or not like the child recognizes her or not. Whether the child is smiling or not, whether it's engaged with her or the sister. It's like almost that entire sequence is like pretty much like nonverbal. It's like it's just Kotoko very excited and the baby either reacting or not reacting. There's something phenomenal about that Okinawa sequence. Yeah.
That baby getting shot was a lot.
It was a lot.
I didn't think they'd do it. I really didn't think they'd show it.
Yeah, I mean, Tsukamoto's like, did you forget who directed this movie?
Yeah.
Bitch. Like, here's something horrible. Here's a nightmare vision to see on screen.
It worked, though. It didn't even feel like terribly like disrespectful or anything. Like it felt like just having to exist with that moment like did kind of break Kotoko's like kind of grasp on her present situation, in like,
yeah,
like seeing it felt earned, I guess, by the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was definitely the punctuation mark on everything that she's been seeing.
Right.
The horrible period at the end of that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to sort of talk about, because like after the after the final major hallucination there, she has the the cardboard fantasy, I'm gonna call
Yeah.
it, where like it's just like she's seeing like dioramas and stuff, like where Daijiro's neck was under her hand is now like dolls. There's all these dioramas and stuff. I don't know. That's, to me, that's such a testament about what you. I remember. I think we said this on Tetsuo the Iron Man, like how much you can do with so little, like an apartment and a bunch of goo. You can truly make such. You can truly make such an evocative scene with. I mean, they're beautifully done little cardboard dioramas. Like I bet that shit took hours and hours to do. But like they wrapped fairy lights in like tape. And I'm like, wow, that I love to see this. That's really pretty. look at all this diorama work. I think there's this scene where like a cardboard door slowly opens, which is just a string attached to a door some stagehand was pulling on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that shit looks great. I love that.
Yeah, you can really feel the stagehands at certain points where there's like string being pulled, or like the way that like that bedroom, because like she's in a bedroom and the bedroom's like walls begin to open up and she's seeing like soda plastic soda bottles that have little spinning fans in them, and like it actually didn't even occur to me until now speaking how much more like earnest and like elegant and beautiful it is than Michel Gondry and his attempts at that. He's like a little too precious. Like this is all very it's so rudimentary, and there's like a profound earnestness to like Kotoko's, like, I mean it's like a psychotic break, right? But it's a beautiful psychotic break. The kind of like gels in the beginning that are like shining on her face. She's reached a kind of like point of like blankness, while these things, these like like notionally like joyous, like carnival-esque things are happening like around her, but they're beautiful at the same time that like we're aware that this is the break, right? Like like this is where the like the pieces really fall apart, and for it to be something that's so like a lot of the things that we're seeing are kind of like recomposited versions of the things that she made for her son while she had that idea that she just won't bring him outside. I'm not going to bring him outside. So she's made these little paper dioramas, and we're seeing them kind of again, but they've come to life. They have an animation. They have a like a life to them, where previously they were just like, they were dead, right? They were just like dead things, and the son was miserable. And now this like desire for her to create a life that's like entirely inside, one that's like, again, created with like these very modest like means, has been given like full bloom. And it's at the moment where she's like at her worst, just that push and pull between this is a psychotic break, and we're seeing filmmaking that is done with this kind of like shoestring, scrappy kind of like DIY sort of nature, and it's stunning. It's like a deeply stunning and arresting sequence. It's not as though like this film is like completely grounded all the time, but it's where the film really gets to like take reality and like fully dissolve it. It's a moment where we understand like implicitly that this is not actually happening, where the other things feel like they might be.
Yeah, because like up until because it's like codified unreality or something, because like up until that moment, this is sort of to the horror of the whole first half of the movie, you don't know what's happening and what's not. Like you don't know which guy is going to be attacking her in the street. You don't know which of these horrible things is going to happen to Daijiro. I think the first time there's an actual consequence to like her double vision is when Daijiro stabs himself in the eye with that pencil. So like it seems like her hallucinations are all like the horror is like not knowing what's real and what isn't, and then finally you do get sort of like an answer, I guess, which is also, you know, terrible, but it's less scary or something. At least it's steady. It's a good movie. I think I'm really impressed that because like, you know, I've seen Tokyo Fist, Tetsuo, this. Maybe I've only seen 3. And I feel like this...
June.
And A Snake of June, so it has been 4. And I feel like it's so mutable, this sort of sense that Tsukamoto has like about the body and about like the all of the different metaphors you can use with like the destruction of the body, with the deformation of the body, with the mutilation of the body. I'm impressed that his body of work has so much range, I guess. Like he's able to use this idea or like these sort of visual signifiers in so many different ways. Like all of those 4 movies are so wildly different from each other. I mean, I don't know that like cohesion is something that is necessarily important for like a filmmaker to be of value, but like I'm impressed that he's able to keep this spine of this specific kind of the way the body deforms and mangles and carry it through such a diverse body of work. Because like, I mean, for other, you know, like Cronenberg, I feel it comes and goes, right? Like I think some of his movies, and this isn't a value judgment, it just is what it is. Like I feel like some of Cronenberg's movies are very much about how icky the body can be, like Crash. And then there are some of his movies that are extremely light on body horror. Like I just saw The Shrouds. Mm-hmm. And it's like not so much about that. Like it's like there are like, there's actually some very Crash-like imagery in The Shrouds, but it's much, it's quite backseated, I would say, compared to a lot of his work. But like, I feel like with Tsukamoto's particular interest in this arena, like it seems to take up around the same amount in each of his movies, and it's used in a different way. It's just interesting is all. Not better or worse, just interesting.
Yeah. Because you see like Tokyo Fist and you're watching like basically 75% of the same film techniques that are used in this being used, and it's straight up just for comedy purposes. And like he just is such a master at like pushing everything to like get get like under your skin to do what he needs to do. Like he's so proficient at it, and he's so Yeah. It's incredible to watch him work, I guess. It's so, all of his movies just feel alive in like a real, like visceral way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is exquisite. Like I mean, I think I'm like a Tetsuo stan, but I think this is right under that for me. Like I liked Tokyo Fist and Snake of June, but I think this is coming in at a safe number 2, which is great. This movie was really, really, really special, I think. And like, oh my God, Coco's incredible. Like, I mean, she was really good in, I didn't talk about her enough. She was really great in
Bride for Rip Van Winkle.
Bride Rip Van Winkle. She was like really great in that. Really special. I loved her sort of performance in that, but like she has to do so much work in this movie. The a cappella performances are crazy. Obviously the suffering from mental illness, like you both have talked about, is crazy. Having to just panic on screen in so many different ways that has peaks and valleys to it is an incredible ask of an actress. And Coco just fucking nails it, dude. It's such a physical performance too. So much of it requires so much of her body, and there's even room for comedy. Like when I'm not sure if either of you have mentioned it yet. When Tanaka is trying to like press towels to her bleeding wrists that she's slashed, and like she has like this languid like pointing motion. Like all you can see is her hand outside of like the bathroom door, and she's just like gesturing like lackadaisically out of the door. And he has to go back and forth like 2 or 3 times. This is like a real comedy to that kind of moment. I don't know. She's incredible. I'm a Coco stan.
Yeah, she gives like a virtuosic performance in this. And I was really shocked because we've obviously seen Bride for Rip Van Winkle, but she's not really in much other than those 2 movies. Like I think she has some like smaller roles and like maybe a couple others, but that's it. She's primarily known as like a singer. And I don't pretend to know anything about the Japanese film industry, but you'd think that she would have like taken off, her acting career would have taken off after doing a movie like this.
Yeah, just been like sought after, you know.
But also imagine this, right? You're like, yeah, I did a couple movies. Oh, they were just Shunji Iwai and Shinya Tsukamoto. No big fucking deal. Just 2 of the finest directors in the nation's medium's history.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Just gonna cash my chips out now and call it good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any final thoughts about Kotoko?
This is fantastic. It's extremely real. It kind of hit me like a truck, but it's exceptional. I loved this so much.
Yeah, no, I think this is a masterpiece, and you know, I've never been Kotoko, but I have. You know,
yeah,
like, you know, and I think that's where it really sings, because it's, you know, it's so rare to see an artwork. Not that like having something like 1-to-1 reflected is particularly like novel, but like seeing I don't know, like a parallel experiences like in a format that is like altogether like different from my own, and being like, yes, you know, that like that like really that really tacit understanding of it do be like that, and it's profound here. It's so profound.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this movie has like every trigger warning I can think of in it. Yeah. But like if you are able to handle it, then it's definitely worth a watch. I think this is extraordinary. I gave this 4.5 stars, but now that we've talked about it, I think I'm going up to 5. I think this is a hell of an achievement.
Yeah, 5 stars for me. This rules.
Also a 5 for me.
That's a new entry for the 5-star club.
Shout out to Nadia Kirima.
break out that list. Let's add another one.
Yeah, let's get an air horn in here. A huge news.
The walls have opened up and confetti is everywhere. Are you two experiencing that?
Yeah. The Josh and Jennifer shaped dolls that Craig is envisioning, their heads have exploded and streamers are flying out.
I feel like I was the doll you were trying to kill. I feel like that'd be me.
You're coming to me catatonic, and you're making origami Master Chiefs and sliding them across the table.
Oh, I really loved that. I really loved that origami thing, because you see her room, right? It's full of origami cranes, and it's just I feel like it implied that like the son just goes there all the time and brings her like a new one, or like makes a new one every time he's there. That was a great little detail.
Yeah, it's like a non sequitur that's then given that like this is, he does this, he visits her regularly, and that's beautiful. Like it just it's a really elegant way of just cinching up the ending, and being like, you know, just showing her that, demonstrating that there's love for Kotoko, you know, that she isn't alone, and it's heartening. Yeah.
And despite everything, there's still life to be lived here, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's experiencing joy with her body in the rain. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a lot. Like, that's huge. Like, that's so fucking, like, there's something beautiful about it. I mean, again, irrespective of all the suffering, she's there in the rain with her body, and the way the film opens is we're seeing her in silhouette doing it in front of the ocean, and then she's in the rain, and she's there, she's present, and that's like, it's in spite of like this movie's treachery, how dark it is, that's like, it's huge. Like, it's huge. There's something like delicate and hopeful about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I explained myself earlier, but did you guys? I don't know. Did you find solace in that? Like, just the idea that, like, as terrible as the inside of your own head can be, that the idea that there is a whole entire world outside of your perception where things can go on and things can be good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I found that extremely heartening.
Yeah.
Especially because watching her break down, and it's like, no, Daijiro's he's hanging in there. He's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was like a good reminder.
Yeah, I think there is a message of like, don't kill yourself in this movie. And like despite the horrors, despite the mental illness, just like, there's still something here for you. I like that a lot about it, especially from an experience so like harrowing.
Yeah. We are going towards, it's next week, folks. It's back to Bloodbath. It's somehow almost October already.
Jesus Christ.
Can you believe it?
No. Not at all.
This year has been so short. This year has been so short and so fucking long at the same goddamn time.
It was like May, June, and July were like eternal. And then like August and September were nothing. And I'm like, pick one. Just let me go through it at a consistent speed, man.
Yeah. Thank you again, Naji Kirima, for the suggestion. If you have suggestions for the show, just to echo again, you can send them to us on Instagram. You can send them via a note stabbed into the doorframe at Craig's house.
Yeah.
Or you can send it over email, swimfanspodcast@gmail.com. The knife has to be bloody, by the way. If it's not bloody, it won't be taken into consideration. So if you have suggestions, you can put them there. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. So that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. Please rate, please review, please subscribe, please tell a friend. Okay, please send in some questions. You can do those at the same places where you can send us recommendations. You know all about that. Please do it. And you can find the show on all the social medias. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have a Patreon. Let me talk about the Patreon first. Patreon.com/swimfans. For as low as $1 a month, you can get access to all the extra stuff that we do over there. So if you want to become an elite dove, like so many elite doves already have, if you want to take the dove plunge, okay? If you want to plunge with the doves, take the dip. Get fully dipped. That's SwimFans Pod, or that's patreon.com/swimfans. Thank you to all the patrons. And you can find the show on all the social medias, Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd. That's SwimFans Pod. Thank you for following us there. You can find me at all the same spots, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, Instagram, wherever. That's user Amons, AMONNS. The other week, this was a little while ago now, Matt was watching the Evangelion rebuild movies. So that's Evangelion 1.0. You are not, in parentheses, alone. So it's the first one is just kind of the first like 7-ish episodes of Evangelion. And then it's the future rebuild movies that I believe sort of take a turn. I've never seen them before. These are all new to me. But it's nice to see Evangelion again. I like them. Jen.
You can follow me on Blue Sky, diatron5.swimfanspod.com. I'm on Letterboxd Diatron. Recently, I watched the Wes Craven film Deadly Friend. It was one of the most tonally bizarre films that I've ever seen. Do either of you know this one?
I do not.
No.
So it's about a teenage inventor who moves to a new town with his robot, who's like a pretty cute 80s movie robot named BB. And this was shot as like a teen thriller, so like war games. The tone was supposed to be like War Games or like Real Genius or like a Short Circuit or something. And so they make the movie, they do a test screening of it, they bring people in like, hey, do you want to see the new Wes Craven movie? He directed Nightmare on Elm Street. And they see it, and it's like this PG movie for like teens and younger about a kid who has to like revive his dead friend using parts of his robot that was destroyed. And no one was really that impressed with it. They were like, where's all of the gore? Where's all of the blood? Where's the surreal horror that we know Wes Craven for? So they went back and then they just shot all of these just like absurd gore scenes for it. And so it looks like a 1970s like sitcom. Like there are shots that straight up look like they're from like the Brady Bunch, and then it'll just get like fucked up violent. There's like a scene where like there's like the angry old lady who like has like a fence around her house. She doesn't like kids or whatever, and like the deadly friend who's like the girl. Who I looked it up. She's she also plays Chrissy Boners in Dude, Where's My Car? And
her hoo-hoos.
Yeah,
dude.
Also, I looked up that actress. She's an insane Trump supporter now. So we've lost Chrissy Boner. She's full on MAGA now. But there's a scene. There's a scene where, because they lose a basketball in the evil lady's yard, and then she shoots BB to death. And so there's a scene, deadly friend has broken into her house, and then she finds like the basketball on the ground. She's like, oh my God, what's this doing here? And then she's surprised by by Chrissy Boner. And she picks up the basketball and then just whips it at her head, and it's like pottery shattering. Her head explodes into like 12 pieces, and blood just goes spraying everywhere. And then she just sort of like takes a few steps like a headless chicken, and then falls over. Like, it is so out of place with the rest of the movie, but it's so glorious. Just look up Deadly Friend basketball scene. Is my recommendation. You don't have to watch the rest of the movie. Just go on YouTube. You'll see the best part. Okay, Craig.
You can find me at Craig Neeson on Instagram and Letterboxd, CraigNeeson.com. Seeing everybody enjoy Hollow Knight Silk Song made me dive back into my like 10-hour Hollow Knight save. And I was like, wow, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was like really close to beating this. It was funny. The game's like, nope, psych, bitch. There's like so much fucking map.
You thought this was a rabbit type
You
shit?
thought this was a rabbit? Fuck 4th of July. No, it's great. Like, I know I didn't bounce off of the game. I think I just stopped playing it. But it is so elegant. The art direction, the animation, the soundtrack, the way that like exploration feels so organic and rewarding, the way that like progress feels earned, the way that you come across obstacles and bosses and you're like, I simply can't. My eyes and my brain and my hands don't move like that. I can't do this. And then the game's like, no, but you can keep trying. And it's crazy how it does that. It's just like, you absolutely like, just quit. You can't do this, boss. Just fucking quit. And then it's like, if you try and you're patient, like, you can do it. There's something about its reputation that, like, you know, I was never able to come down decisively on. And I can just say, nearing kind of end game here, I think, at least, just beautiful game. Like, so elegant, so funny, so tender, so just like beautifully made. Hollow Knight. Don't really want to play that Silk Song. Here it's kind of hard. I'm gonna keep going with my cute little bug guy.
Yeah, that's our Addy corner
Yeah.
for the week.
Got to get them in.
Yeah. Chrissy Boner, it's not too late to turn to Marxist Leninism.
Wait, I
welcome back,
post
Christy.
Comrade.
Comrade Christy Boner.
I posted the YouTube link in the Discord for you guys to watch.
I'm watching it.
Okay, nice.
I'm in.
Holy shit, dude.
Like it's supposed to be a love story between a teenager and his robot girlfriend. And they completely reshot the ending where all of her skin falls off and she just kills the main guy, and then it just cuts to credits. Like there's no real conclusion or anything. It just stops.
More movies
That's
should
deadly.
do that.
That's
More
Deadly
more
Friend
movies should do that.
1986, listener, and it is free on Tubi.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.